time knitting than actually wearing the finished objects. This is episode 10 of the AdoreKnit Podcast. I'm your host, Steph, also known as the Knitting Samurai on Ravelry and AdoreKnit Steph on Instagram. I'd love it if you came over and chatted, we become friends, follow. And while I'm doing this right now, I might as well say, if you like this video, please subscribe down below and hit the notifications button so you know every 7 to 10 days when I upload a new video. So today's show is going to have a new cast on, a whip, a finished object, a visit by my son, possibly, a pattern review, knit along updates, additions, dream knitting, a little shop talk, and some boy stuff. So let's jump right in. But first, Tristan, what can I help you with?
Can we go to Lemon Peppers today?
We could talk about it this afternoon, okay? Maybe.
Why? Because
I said maybe we can go. We have to talk to Mame and Pepe and see what they're up to. Okay. Now I'm gonna talk to my knitting
Can I
friends.
help you?
Can you help me?
Yeah.
Sure. Do you want to come sit next to me? Okay. Okay, you're gonna help me. So the first thing we have to talk about is what I newly cast on. You can ask questions, okay? All right, you should sit up though. You're like falling off the couch. Sit up, sit up, sit up. There. Okay, so what did I newly cast on? You've seen this, you know about it. It's called the Resistance Shawl. What do you think of it?
Well, if you added some other colors, I would like it, but right now all it's gray and green and yellow.
So you think that's kind of boring?
Yeah.
But it matches my Game of Thrones bag really well.
Wait, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. It just needs some red.
Yeah, it doesn't have red or gray.
Or gray. What? This is gray. This is charcoal gray. Look, let me show you the yarn. This is Sun-Soaked Yarns in charcoal. I'm calling it charcoal. I don't think it has a name. And then this one is Sun-Soaked Yarns in Fifth Avenue, which I love. It has these gorgeous pops of brown and black in it, and it's variegated golden shades. What's that? That's a pen. And that's the pattern. So this pattern is the Resistance Shawl by Maggie Brucell. I don't know, I feel like there should be another vowel in her name. And I am loving it. So it's knit in 5 different sections, and it makes
Mom, could you put these away?
Okay, I'll hold it. And it makes a very deep triangular shawl. I think the measurements,
Why is this behind my head?
well, because the couch was just so brown and boring looking that I felt like I should put something colorful back there. What do you think? Does it help? Does it make it more interesting to look at?
No, it feels more comfortable.
Oh, it does. It's nice and bumpy. Okay, so the finished size is 48 inches wide by 20 inches deep. So almost 2 feet deep. So I thought it was actually deeper than that, and 48 inches wide. I'm still on the fence. I am in section 3 of 4. Sorry, there are 4 sections. So that you're doing this, it's not so short that it feels like a scarf. It's fun in each section that you're knitting, but you are doing a bunch of knitting one way, and then this direction, and then there's some modular knitting going this way, and it's just really cool the way that this knits up. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it into a cowl or a shawl. I'm thinking, because you're doing increases on this row, and I'm thinking about leaving off 2 of them and just making the back of it straight edged instead of being a triangle, making it more like is that a pentagon, right? Can you picture what? So like this, straight, and then across the top. So I've got the top edge, right? And then it would be like bandana style cowl hanging down, kind of like my night shift. So I'm thinking about doing that. I'm not yet to the point where I have to decide, because the top edge is like 9 inches. Oh, I have measuring tapes. I'm not gonna make you watch me do that. It's about 18 inches. Yeah, 18 inches, and I want it to get to 27 for a nice drapey cowl. But I love these colors together. Oh my goodness. I could not love these anymore. So I am using size 6 or 5 needles. The pattern calls for a sport weight yarn, so I did go down a needle size. Maybe I went to 4s. Tools, 6s. I think I went to 4s actually, now that I'm really thinking about it. What's that? That's my pen. That's my pen. So this pattern is available through Knitsing from their 2013 accessories issue. So there is my new cast on. So I've been working on this like crazy and not so much on my other stuff, right?
When are you gonna make me the zap bug thing?
Zap bug thing? Oh no,
What?
we're beyond that zap bug thing.
No, I want you to knit me one.
All right, my next whip, work in progress, is also for the orange along. And
Can I write something on here?
no, no. What do you think of this sweater?
That does not look colorful at all.
What? How many colors does something have to be colorful? Is this colorful?
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay.
I want
Because this has 4 different colors on it. Can you see that?
one. No, it has lots of colors.
Right in the variegation here.
But I would like you to knit me a rainbow scarf.
I don't like scarves. I don't knit scarves.
You're joking.
No, I'm not. I don't knit. Well, that's a shawl. That's different. So a scarf is like a little, it's about that wide. What?
Maybe.
And you just go back and forth and it's really boring. What?
Mom, could
That's
you
what it means.
could you make me like a real rainbow that on for a sweater?
A rainbow sweater. So what do you think about this rainbow? This is
Yeah.
coming up in editions, but that's a rainbow,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah.
really pretty.
Yeah.
So this is Knit Picks for Lychee in cloudy with a chance of rainbows. It's like a dusty rainbow. It's really, really beautiful.
Could you like make a rainbow with some clouds at the end on like a
Shawl? You know what I could make? A cowl.
yeah cowl.
A cowl?
I would like a cowl
Okay.
with that.
Okay.
With a rainbow.
Sounds good, sweetie. Okay, so now let's talk about my Caitlin Hunter designed Sunset Highway, which is right here. I said I wasn't going to show it to you every time. And last time you saw it, we were up at Harry, where Harry Potter, the Progress Keeper, starts. So I've done a good 3.5 inches. This second Progress Keeper is measuring. I need to get 3 inches from that point, and then I'm on the hem. So I realized this past week that I was running out of yarn. And so these were the 2 skeins I was alternating, and I need to get long sleeves out of this. So definitely not enough yarn. If you think of a sweater as 2/3 on the body and then 1/3 on the sleeves if you make long sleeves. Or if you do a hood, that's a quarter, half. So, and actually you can even break it up that the front panel is 1/3, the sleeves are 1/3, and the back panel is 1/3, just to help you gauge your yarn as you're knitting. So I quickly went on Ravelry and messaged 3 different people and said, help! They had the Malabrigo sock in the Arbol color, and one of them was super kind and mailed it to me that day. So I got it like 3 days later. I was able to quickly break off one to save it for doing sleeves later on, and started mixing in the second skein of it. So now I have plenty of yarn to knit this sweater, but it does worry me that I am going so much over the recommended yardage for that section because I was very diligent when I bought it. So Tristan, my gauge is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I'm doing this without glasses. 6, 7, yes, it's 7. And the pattern gauge, I am a big fan of highlighting. So there's her version, which is beautiful. But the main color, no, wait, that's not what I was looking for. I was supposed to need 900 yards of the main color, so I'm well over that. Well, not yet, but I will be getting over that. Gauge, 5.5 stitches to the inch, and I'm at 7. Which way does that go, Tris? So it should be smaller, right? I'm getting more stitches into the same amount of space. Yeah, so it should be smaller. So I'm okay with that. Woo, awesome, because I was knitting the, what size chest? What, babe? You're stabbing my thing? I was knitting the 52-inch chest, so if it comes out a little bit smaller than that, all the better. So, yay! So that's going. I'm excited. I'm trying. I'm definitely not going to finish in time for the orange along on August 1st, but I would like to get the body done at least. I have improved my helical knitting, so not twisting the yarns, just dropping the one I was last on and picking up the next one. I've done every second row, so I'm curious, because the camera always tells you the truth that you maybe can't see with the naked eye, how that color looks, if you can tell where the new one went in. Because I know I do have a line of the dark greenish portion at one point. What's up, babe?
When can you make me a charger bug?
A charger bug. Okay. So fellow moms of young people, do you find that when your little person is around, your brain kind of like a third of it just goes to monitoring what they're doing, what they're saying, what they're touching, what they're interacting with? Because I find that whenever Mr. T is around, my brain is not fully engaged on what I would like. And so then my words are harder to find than they already are hard to find. So yes, here it is in all of its gloriousness. So this is my spring cleaning shawl by Stephen West. I loved knitting this. I can't even tell you. And sorry, but I'm making that's my Keurig. You have to make it early so that you can make it iced. So anyways, it is magnificent. Mine came out huge, which is fine. I haven't measured it or blocked it, but I don't know that it even needs it. I wore it around and played with swords one night with the boys while wearing it, and Tris snapped some pictures for me, but it's super long. Whoops, I'm falling everywhere. It goes way down to my belly button, and it's plenty drapey as it is, so I'm not sure it even needs blocking, but I absolutely love it. So I knit this with Inspiration Dye Works is that color. This is Fibronymph Dye Works Scrooged. I used all but, I want to say 8 ounces. Like I almost used the entire skein, which is awesome because that yarn is so gorgeous. I absolutely love this colorway. Absolutely. Let's have a drinking game. But seriously, it's just stunning together. Their color, I think part of it is the surprise that these colors that I would not normally like look so amazing together. And while red and spruce green would be Christmassy, and it is intended as a Christmas yarn, with the charcoal gray and the lime green in it, it just doesn't read that way to me. So, so there's that. This is Miss Babs, yummy, two ply. And there's one more. Oh, this is Miss Babs too, the pewter, which is my favorite gray of all time. So it's finished. It used about 950 yards. So I haven't done the math yet for my stash dash, all those knit along totals, but that's a great chunk of knitting to have off my needles. And so when this was finished, I let myself jump into the next shawl. And when Steve was watching me and he saw me starting a new shawl, he was like, you know, do you spend more time knitting shawls than actually wearing shawls? And I got huffy, of course. But, you know, that may be true because I knit a lot of the time, but I don't wear my hand knits as much as I spend knitting on them. And so that's caused me to think set him straight that I used to knit a lot of shawls back in 2009 and 2010, but like that time period, but not so much anymore, to the point where I actually set myself a goal this year of knitting a shawl because it's been so long since I've knit one. So I've got this great giant huge one off the needles, which I think will be a nice improvement in my shawl collection. I do tend to, I think I gave away 2 or 3 last year, just some of the older ones that I don't find myself wearing anymore. So sharing them with, I think, Mom's friends, actually. I had them in the Goodwill bag, and Mom was like, no. So she had some friends that were very happy to have them. So anyways, this shawl's done, and I have another shawl on the needles, and I'm excited to have them both. So, but yeah, I definitely put more hours into knitting them than wearing them. But hopefully, if I end up with an FO I love, I end up wearing it more. Right? So what I was wondering, and please leave a comment and tell me how it works for you. Do you wear your shawls as often, as much time as it took you to knit the shawls? Whoopsie, I forgot to mention one of my whips. What's the point of having show agenda, outline, whatever, if I can't go in order? I blame Tristan and then Roland. But I've sent them upstairs to watch a TV show while I finish. So here's the first of my Mustang mittens. Last time I showed you, I don't know how much I had, because I don't think that's what I'm marking with my electric lime flip-flop. I love that flip-flop with this yarn. This is my Desert Vista Dye Works monthly. What month are we in? July. Sorry, it's been a long week and it's Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. already. My Desert Vista Dye Works Sock of the Month Club, so I'm working on mittens. My second mitten seems to be much larger than my first one, but I'm not going backwards. I know I had a hard time keeping the stitch count correct on this one, so it may be a little bit snug, so whatever. Yeah, this is definitely, can you see? It's probably ½ an inch wider, whatever. I'm gonna let it go. So these are very fun to knit. Garter stitch, right? A garter stitch in the round after a point. So that's less fun. But I was laughing that all of my projects these days are garter stitch. So, but it's lovely. I like doing it. And I'm holding the yarn doubled, using size 6s. And I'll be using 5s for the cuff. I haven't decided how I'm gonna do the thumb, if I'm gonna do it with the 2 strands or if I'm gonna go single and go down to like a size 1 to make it it won't be as warm though, right? The thumb is supposed to be in stockinette according to the pattern, which was written by Ann Lena Madison. Yeah, so it has an afterthought thumb. Did I say that? They're just fun, right? And amazingly, holding yarn double, it knits really fast on size 6s versus size 0s. So I feels a little bit like cheating this month. I definitely won't do another yarn held double for my monthly sock, but I tried it, right? Something different to do. And one can only have so many pairs of socks. I did get my 3rd quarter coupon, or not 3rd quarter, 3-month coupon, and I went a little crazy. But there were really great colors for this month that were never gonna be back again. So I've definitely replenished my stock of DVD. So I will continue on through the year. That is my progress. Plan. I'll probably have to insert something, or maybe I'll put it down here because I'm not sure. I have to go calculate it. But I know I'm up around 3,000 meters for Stash Dash, which I was shooting for 5,000. So we'll see how I do. If I keep casting on new projects, I'm not going to make it. I've got to finish some of the older ones that are like gonna push me forward, but whatever. And the orange along, going strong. If you're knitting anything gold, orange, peach, anything in that color palette, come over, post about it, be entered to win a gift certificate to the shop. So that takes us to additions. I bought some things. So where should I start? bit of a throwback that I'm sneaking in at you, but you'll see how it comes around. So these are the Baudelaires I knit for my mom. Can you see? I've got a hole I need to darn. And I've had these for probably 3 months and I haven't darned them. But this is the Cookie A pattern that I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And this is it matches with this quite well. But anyways, these were one of her 2 favorite pairs of socks. And so I told her I would knit her friend, Kathy, a pair of socks. Where's the other color? Okay. So I didn't know Opal made solid colors. Did you? So I needed to get a blue. I got 2 blues, but I'm only seeing 1 blue to share with you. So I got this somewhere on Etsy. I'm not sure the website, but $14 for a solid skein of opal. Great workhorse yarn, obviously. The socks are gonna last forever. And then I got a skein of yellow because you can't just buy one. And my dad is a yellow freak. So it's been a while since I've knit him a pair of yellow socks. So I thought, oh, I could make him some of these. This looks like a fun colorway to knit. So those came in, and this is gonna be a Baudelaire, or it's more of a country green, country blue, the other color I got. And then my other acquisition, everybody was talking about Lychee being back in stock. And I was like, yes, please. I love Lychee. Don't so much love it for socks. It's not been a good fit for me in terms of pilling and wearing, and just, they don't hold up so well with me. I need more of a workhorse yarn. Just, that's the way it is. But I still love the colors, and I love knitting other things with them. I've knit fingerless mitts with them, baby hats, baby sweaters. Like, you can't beat the softness of this superwash merino wool nylon blend, 25.75. Reverse those. So this is the Special Reserve. This is the ribbit colorway. And then you saw earlier, I got this Cloudy with a Chance of Rainbow. And I also got a beautiful Grape Gatsby. Oh, that's funny. I didn't realize the name. Grape. Get it? So I got those, and while I was at it, I was doing a little bit of dream knitting and thinking about the next sweater I wanted to knit, and knit a summer weight t-shirt talk. I think, sorry, I think after the last episode, I really had it in my mind that I wanted to knit a t-shirt, a short sleeve, sleeveless top. So while I was looking at those, I had that I wanted to do this has already been 2 sweaters. Let me say it like that. So while I was shopping, I decided that I would do a sock arm sweater. But then I recorded the episode and I wanted to do a t-shirt. There we go. And so I have been dream knitting the daisy tee, which I will show you in just a second. But I thought those coordinated very well. So I got these. I also considered this as a coordinating color, but I think I'll wear this combo more. It's more to my more similar to what my wardrobe looks like. I don't have a lot of rainbow colored items that I frequently wear, and really loud colored shawls I don't wear as much either. So I think this will be great. So I got 4 skeins of that to make a sweater. But then I'm just gonna put them all back in this bag together, and I'm gonna cast this on very shortly. So then I don't remember how I found it, if somebody was knitting it and I saw it and loved it, but the Daisy, yeah, I'm not giving anything away here, the Daisy Lady by Stephanie Lotvin. I was looking at, I think she did the sleeve, the sock arm sweater. So I was looking at her patterns, that's how it happened. And then she had a coupon code that was like buy 3, get 1 free. And so then I ended up buying 4 of her patterns, and this was one of them. And the more I looked at it, the more I thought, oh, because it's designed for mini skeins across the top. But I thought if I use 2 different strands, right, so that the color sections are a little wider, I could totally use that sock yarn and do that on the chest, and then the colors all match, and it's a great color flow, and I love it. So I can't wait to cast this on. Let's see, I did take some measurements to figure it out. I've written some notes all over this pattern in Goodreads. Goodreads? Yes. Don't you just love that program? Yeah. So, yay! It's gonna be fun. So the pattern calls for fingering weight yarn, knit on 7s and 6s. So I might do 5s and 6s because I'm a loose knitter. The gauge is 22 stitches. So I will use a bigger needle than I used for my Sunset Highway because that's getting me fingering weight at 7 stitches per inch. So, and I don't really think the yarn makes that much of a difference, at least not for me. So, and you can see, I don't know how well you can see it, but there is this great texture along the body of the sweater. So, I want to cast it on. And it comes in sizes extra small up to 4XL. So she does some great sizing options. So that's my dream knitting. So let's talk about the shop for a second. I got nothing. Okay, so sorry, it's just been crazy. The boys are now home full time, and it's a lot for me to balance. So I haven't done much in the shop except shipping orders, which is great, thank you. But Mom and I will be working on new bags on the weekends when I run away screaming and say, Steve, you've got the boys, I need a mommy break. So speaking of the boys, oh wait, before I speak of the boys, let me just mention that the shop right now, so Etsy changed their policy, so free shipping gets you pushed up higher, but then they also, in their message telling everyone that, said raise your prices to cover shipping costs. People aren't stupid, they're gonna realize that that's what's happened with the pricing. So I adjusted the bags because those are large items, but for stitch markers and progress keepers, they're not expensive enough to cover the cost of shipping. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So there will be, going forward, if you purchase more than $25, you'll automatically get free shipping in the shop, because that was the easiest way for me to get their priority. But right now, the current promo, because we love to have promos in the shop, is over 15, no, over 20, nope. The current promo in the shop is over $19 gets you 19% off. So, because it's 2019 and that seemed like fun. You gotta have fun. So, speaking of my boys, I was a little worried about the summer. And so I made this schedule, right? So first Row and I sat down with a list of all the attractions, all the things that he would have done with Camp Wildcat that he's not getting to do because I'm opting to keep him home with Tristan instead of having Tristan left behind. So, you know, we made a list of all the things we could do, want to do, have done, whatever. And then he and I prioritized what are the top, I think we ended up with 12 actually, that we want to do. And we have 7 weeks to fill. And so I worked that out to 2 days a week. We will do some fun travel activity. And the other 3 days, we'll do some combination of home activities, running errands, going to Body Phonics at the university for Tristan. So I made a color-coded chart, and then I also made a list of by hour activities, because I know this sounds crazy, it's summer, you want to be free. But for me, I was too overwhelmed at the thought of chaotic weekend days every day of my life for 7 weeks. That was just going to be too much. So this has really helped me. And when the boys are like, they don't know what to do, it's like, just go look at the fridge, go read where you should be right now. So I have things on there like play outside for an hour in the morning, play outside for an hour in the afternoon, read for an hour, which is great because they're earning their TV by reading, not so much Tristan. Tristan is doing thinking centers, which are activities that like writing and mathematical games and things like that. Like, he knows what the thinking centers are because it's basically what he had for choices at preschool. So he does 3 thinking centers and then he earns a half an hour of TV. That's how that goes. And the thinking centers are 10 to 20 minutes depending on how long he's engaged in it, so it works out fine. And then roll in for every hour he reads, he gets an hour of TV or whatever the equation is. It's 1 for 1. So it's great, right? And I have this schedule, and it's like, get up, eat breakfast, help mom cook dinner. In the evening, if you burn TV, you get to watch TV, or it's free play. And they're doing awesome with it. Granted, it's only day 3, but I'm really excited about it. And I said to them, if you finish your, like in that block, in that hour, if you're done early, you can have free play. You can play something else if you want. So this morning they were up at 6, dressed, ready to go, whatever, and it was 7:12. And so we're not supposed to start our daily schedule until 8:30. So they had free choice, whatever you want to do. Tristan went and filmed his trolls fighting, like he likes to do that. So that was his fun activity, and Roland chose to go and read. So he did some reading. Great, awesome. That's what you want kids to do in the summer. So he is reading he's been loving the Big Nates, but I went to the library and got a ton of their graphic novels, because that's about they're interesting for him, and whatever, reading's reading. So he's reading a Groot and Rocket story right now. So, and they come from the library, so I know that they're appropriate. Does that make sense? Versus just giving him free access at a bookstore. So there's that. And it's going really well, and I made a budget so that I don't feel guilty spending on the pricier things. Like, we're gonna go to Water Country and Funtown, and those are like $100+ days. So they're in there. We'll make sure we get all our activities in. They know that there are 2 days a week that are travel days, so don't ask me to do other stuff. So it enabled us to have a conversation about spending money in a budget, right? And keeping it. Can't afford to do everything all the time, and a discussion about energy. You know, if we were to go, run every day, I would be so exhausted. I couldn't function. And then we would spend, you know, who knows how many days at home doing nothing because I was wiped out. So I think it was a great way to set the tone for the summer, to talk about expectations, and I was just really pleased with how it's worked out for us so far. But yesterday was our first travel day, and so the calendar says 8:30 to 4:30, and we were gone from, I think, 9 to 3 is what it worked out to. And we went to a local, to the park where Steve and I got married, and they have a giant playground, and there's a rocky beach and all kinds of things to do. So they ran around and did that, and I had my headset on and sat there knitting. Which is great, because it's a little more like my normal routine to get up and listen to the news, and like I felt good about that. And then we had packed our picnic lunch, so we had our picnic, and then we went over to Blitz, the trampoline place that we love so much. So they jumped for a while, and they actually jumped for 3 hours, at which point I was like, I can't take it. We have to leave now. And Tristan passed out in the car on the way home. Good. He's a nicer person if he takes a nap. It's just reality. And Steve got home at 5:30, and I went to bed because just that amount of activity was enough for me, like running on empty. So I got 12 hours sleep last night. I woke up this morning. I wanted to talk to you. Here we are. And today's a home day, so they're gonna play Under the Sprinkler for a while. And I said I would play a board game with them every single day. That's a home day for an hour, but a home day is only once a week on the schedule. So that's fine. That's the amount of commitment I can do for them. And of course, we're together when we make lunch, when we make dinner, when they're eating breakfast, in between their activities. So that's how I'm managing the summer. And I know for people in the South, your summer's almost over. And for people in the North, it's like, well, summer's half done. Why are you telling me this now? Just remember it for next year, okay? I'm just trying to help you. If you're at all high stress anxiety like me and can't stand the thought of, I love carefree days, and I could do that with Roland, but the two of them together, it just changes the dynamic, and they end up fighting if they're left to their own devices for too long. And there's tears, and there's, yeah. So this way it's structured, and it's like, we don't know what to do. Do this. So I've talked enough. I'm gonna cut it here and say thank you so much if you stuck with me till the end. I hope you have a great 10 days or so until we talk again. And thanks for watching. I know you have a lot of choices, and I appreciate you. Mwah! I am trying out a microphone to see if it makes the volume better. I don't know. Up it. Test 2. I've moved the microphone up to see if the sound quality is better that way. If you enjoyed this episode and look for more tips and tricks from me, go ahead, subscribe below. I tend to talk about knitting and mommy stuff because that's what my life is. So, yeah, that was weird.